Hey folks, welcome back to Gaming Garbage. We take a look at games, chat about the gaming news in the industry, and of course, stream for fun. Today, we're talking about Helldivers 2, and this is my Xbox review. Now, to give you an idea, I have roughly 50 hours that I've played, or at least game time that I've been in the game, and then mission time is about 38, 39 hours currently so far. So I've played a lot of it. I've done all of the races. I've gone around the map. I've tried up to level difficulty 6 so far, and I've unlocked definitely quite a few stratagems and have tried them out and etc. So, but currently, let's go over the Metacritic score, and we'll go over kind of the scores, and then we'll go over my scores, and we'll go over great things about the game and not so great things about the game, and then my final thoughts at the end. So the Metacritic score is 80s for critics and 7s for players. OpenCritic shows 83 for critics and 90 for players, so it's quite a bit higher on that one on OpenCritic. And then we're also looking at Steam. I actually forgot to write that down. Oops. So currently we're looking at mostly positive right now. A very positive game, though this is English reviews. If you guys don't know, they've actually taken the time to now do things regionally. So like just things in China, just things over in Asia Pacific, just things in Russia, probably just things in Eastern Europe or Africa, wherever. So they've done this regionally now, and I'm not sure if I really like that. I kind of wish you could see everything, and maybe you can. I haven't dug into it, but at least here in the States, probably Canada and a few other countries, maybe it's at very, very positive. So yeah, it's huge, and it's doing very, very well. So with that on Steam, it's doing a great job so far, which is great. I mean, that's absolutely what we want to see. So let's take a look at Steam charts. Let's see how this is actually going. As you can see, it was pretty normal, around maybe 16 to 30,000, and it was kind of growing in the days leading up to Xbox launch. And then this was Xbox launch right here. And we got up to 156,000 players that came back. That's a massive increase from just the last few days. That's basically threefold. And then it has stayed actually pretty high. And then we're looking again at like the next weekend. This is 171,000. And then something too that's also interesting to see is that with each peak that we've had, it curtailed off, but then we had a big release of content, another big release of content, and then the launch of Xbox. And we don't normally see this, but each time it's actually increased in player count. And we take a look at all, I don't know if it'll ever get back to almost 500,000, right? Because that really dropped off quite a bit. And they also had some balancing issues and kind of frustrated the community. And PlayStation certainly didn't help with that either, because PlayStation was like, hey, you're going to be required to basically have PSN account. And players are like, nope, we're not going to do that. So literally, in my opinion, PlayStation almost completely killed the game, because that was not necessarily Arrowhead's decision. That was PlayStation Publishing that wanted to do that. And then they recanted that. They're like, well, never mind. We're basically killing the only game that's actually making money right now. And so we don't want to kill that horse. But yeah, the damage probably was done some, and some players haven't been back. But it is good to see that players are starting to come back. The numbers are getting bigger. Maybe players that didn't buy it before are buying now. And so that's great. If we take a look at actual PlayStation, this is PlayStation Time Tracker. If you don't know, this basically tracks roughly 15,000 accounts volunteer-wise. And they just keep track of what people are playing and how long and all that kind of stuff. So in hours played, Helldivers is number 28. This is in July. Take a look at August. We're looking at, number 32, so it moved up a little bit. And then when we look at the last 30 days with the Xbox launch, which the Xbox launch was on the 26th, we've basically had 8 full days now since launch. And now we're looking at number 29. So the player counts are actually going up. The hours being played are going up. And this is actually moving up through the ranks again. And that's also great to see. So some players, again, are coming back or maybe buying it again for the first time. When we take a look at Xbox, this is just Xbox Series X, Helldivers is number 1 in hours played. It even beats Madden. It even beats Delta Force, which is a free-to-play game. It also beats Ready or Not, which is really, really big on Xbox. It also beats Fortnite and Roblox and Minecraft and college football, GTA 5 and Call of Duty and Grounded 2 and Marvel Rivals. Guys, This is crazy. There are so many Xbox players hopping on this. Now, we don't have exact sales numbers. No, this is not a part of Game Pass. This is just you have to buy to get in, minimum $40. If you buy the super fancy Super Citizen Edition, then it's $60, which is what I did. I was super excited about this, but all of the PlayStation channels that were saying that Xbox players don't buy games, you guys were dead wrong. Absolutely. And for those of you PlayStation guys that I've played with, or for those of you that are just normal, hey, welcome to the channel. So glad to have you here. But for the rest of you kind of like minority crazy fanboys, man, why do you guys hate us so much? I just have to ask that. So yeah, a lot of people have been buying this. A lot of people are playing this. I'm sure Arrowhead and Sony both are making some serious money on this again, which is wonderful. So personally, for my score, when it's just single player, now that I've been playing for a while, it's just a 5 or 6 out of 10. Okay, it's not like an entirely full experience, and the game is certainly made to be played co-op, but it does get very repetitive. It can get also pretty frustrating because, again, you can only do so much by yourself, and so you're pretty much capped there, and there's also limited variety in gameplay. Now, in co-op, I would score it a 7 to a 9 out of 10. Depending on who you play with and how their play styles are and how you guys complement each other and work as a team, it can really be an amazing experience. So just some examples, like our team literally struggled for 15 minutes, and we literally pulled it out of our butt just barely and were able to extract. That was an awesome mission. We also had 4 of us that were working on a difficulty level 6. A lot of us were under level 20. And the top guy actually just pulled out. He quit. He was in number 27, 6 rack, and he just quit. Like, and there were definitely some server issues too, but like he didn't want to come back. So the rest of us in the teens for level just were able to pull it out and do it, which was great. Also, there was an insane struggle to extract in another different mission that I had with some guys, and literally the last couple of us just kind of like dove in, which was a blast and hilarious, and we actually all got out of there. That was wonderful. Another time, we basically, I ended up extracting alone, and I didn't understand exactly all of the rules, so I ended up screwing my team, but, and yeah, that's totally on me, and I felt bad for them. I apologized, and luckily, they took it pretty well. But yeah, you gotta work as a team at these higher difficulties, and it was just insane to me of all of the bugs just pushing over the extraction zone. So yeah, you really got to pay attention, be careful. You got to strategize and pay attention to what other players are doing. But that too was just a moment for me, and I'll try to throw that up here so that you guys can enjoy the show. And then another time, experienced players with better gear, they dropped in my game. Midway, I was having a horrible time by myself, and they literally just pulled it out for me, and I just tagged along. And again, that was another great experience. They were really nice. Some of them also dropped gear for me to try out that I'd never seen before, didn't even really know what it was part of the time or how to use it. And yeah, again, it's just been a wonderful experience with these types of games. And so this has been some of the most fun that I've had in co-op games for a long time. And again, I can't control everything. I can only control what I do, and there's also friendly fire and the open world or the open areas that you play in. They're also kind of dynamic. You never know exactly what's going to happen or exactly where enemies are going to show up or what they're going to do, as they have a few options depending on the stimuli that they have. But yeah, it's overall, it's been a wonderful, wonderful game. And yeah, it's a 7 to a 9 out of 10 for co-op. It's wonderful. Great things about the game. The ODST War Bond. Let's go. Dude, that thing is so cool. We really need more collabs like this, and I'm really glad Xbox is starting to do this. Because we also got to see this with, like, Doomslayer with Tony Hawk Pro Skater, which was great. You could actually get a Steam and a skin and skate around like Doomslayer. And then, too, ODST, it's legitimate weapons and gear and color schemes from Halo ODST that are implemented into this War Bond in Helldivers. And it's wonderful. I love that absolute collaboration. Something, too, that's great is the community. It's caring, it's helpful, it's generally older and more mature, they're generally more patient. And so, yeah, just about everybody that I've met is close to 30, or even over 30, or almost 40 years old, which is kind of nuts. There's a few folks on PlayStation that I've met that are in their younger 20s, but like there's no kids. Okay, there's really not a lot of high schoolers. This is just an older more mature audience to actually play with. And that too also makes it a heck of a lot more fun than some other games that are just toxic as crap. Something else is none of the mechanics or gameplay is really paywalled. You can take the time to earn it all. And I don't mean just necessarily like grinding to death to actually get something, but even like Halo ODST, the War Bond for the armor sets and stuff, I still have to collect the medals, but like I was able to collect super credits to unlock the War Bond for free. I didn't have to pay for it, which was nice. And even so, the War Bond is like $15. Most battle passes and stuff are like $20 or $30 at this point for most video games that are out there. And so for $15, it feels cheap compared to like Overwatch or Call of Duty or whatever else out there. And so that's just really nice to see that. Also, too, there are additions and equipment through these small little battle passes called war bonds. So that's really nice too. So while you have a plethora of different equipment and weapons and different play styles you can do and different stratagems to call in and wreak havoc on the field, there's also more stuff to actually work toward in these war bonds. And they're not just for show or just cosmetic. They actually have utility to them, whether it's equipment or armor sets or whatever that have certain different perks. And it's just really nice to see that. So it's like you already have a pretty big batch of things to earn and work toward in the game across the board. And then if you want more to work toward, or there's something specific that you'd like to get, then you can do that. And that's really nice. It doesn't feel like it's a gotcha game or a pay-to-win mechanic. Also, what's really nice, what's great about this is that the game is first. Microtransactions are second. Because again, you can basically earn everything in the game. You don't have to spend extra money if you don't want to. If you know exactly kind of where to look, or you just look up a few things, you can earn super credits actually pretty quickly, like level 2 difficulties, for example. And it's just, again, or level 3s, it's just really nice to see that. And so, yeah, they're not trying to like rake more money out of your pocket. It's more like an option, okay? And that's how it feels in the game. There's also a variety of missions and tasks in the game. It's just not incredibly repetitive. It can still feel that to a degree, but no mission is also the same. Because again, you only control so much, but like the map changes, the enemies can change. As you increase the difficulty, the missions and the enemies can change, or there can be more of them, or different types of enemies. So it's like your experience is never exactly going to be the same, no matter how many times you do a type of mission. You know what to do, but like the layout can be different. There can be other obstacles, there can be other things in the way, or there can be different structures or things to work through, or even different a day-night cycle. It all changes depending on kind of what's going on in the game as time moves on. And that's really great. It keeps it a little bit more fresh longer, but it can still get repetitive as a solo player. It's also really nice with the stratagems that we have and the different equipment is that you can have different play styles for solo and co-op. So depending if you're going out by yourself, you're going to want maybe more stims to carry or more grenades to carry or more ammunition or whatever, or two, maybe you're working with a team, and so yeah, you want to be a type of scout, or you want to be like the heavy guy that's kind of slower, that isn't going to be able to catch up as easy, but like when you have to absolutely obliterate, then you can do that. And you can see the teamwork happen as you're playing the game, which is awesome. It's just cool to see that. So yeah, between your weapons, your stratagems, your boosters, your armor, you can basically pick whatever you need with whoever you're fighting, whether by yourself or with others. There's also free content updates. We just got another big one. We have Hive Lords now, and we're literally encroaching on the Tyranids, and it lives and breathes like a real game. And then these updates are free. And then even if you've gotten or paid for or worked through all of the war bonds, there's still more that are added all the time, which is great. And it really makes the game feel alive. And many have come back for these big updates. Also, too, the satire of the whole game, it works perfectly. And it just goes in line with Starship Troopers 2, the movie. And the movie's actually on sale right now, if you'd like to pick it up on Amazon Prime. But yeah, it's just a blast of a game. Everything works together. Okay, the environment, the characters, the gunplay, the community, the music, just everything works together for a wonderful game. Not so great things. There's definitely some frame rate drops, and sometimes they can actually be pretty big, even in performance mode on Xbox. There's also glitching enemies. They can glitch into rock or to buildings, or sometimes you can, have your samples glitch somewhere, kind of weird. You can also have your glitching shuttle when you're trying to extract, which can kill you by accident or kind of get stuck or just completely recess into the floor and then you can't extract. I also had a mission too where the terminal was actually completely sucked into this concrete flooring, this block, and yeah, the concrete just was not put in the right place and it just completely messed up everything. And yeah, there was no way to even complete the mission, so I had to run around the whole time waiting for extraction to happen to basically run out of time which was 40 minutes. And the bird gets called automatically after that 40 minutes. And then I could actually extract. And then that shuttle almost killed me, too, when it was trying to land because it completely was glitching all over the place around the rock and stuff. So with the new updates, my suggestion to the devs is to actually make the landing pad for the Tyranids on Oshinaka, or whatever that planet is called, make it more clear, okay? Don't have the stalagmites and stalactites. Have it more wide open for the shuttle, because, man, sometimes that shuttle is getting stuck on rocks or it's glitching over kind of a rock embankment or whatever, and it's even hard to kind of stand somewhere. Or, two, sometimes the shuttle bay door in the back can be pressed up completely against a rock formation, so you can't get in, even trying to go prone and wiggle your way in. So it's kind of a mess. They definitely need to fix that. There's also some lag input for like reloading and climbing over stuff. There is a option to just auto climb over things, which is nice. But I thought maybe it was one of my controllers, but no, I tried 2 controllers and it was exactly the same problem. So sometimes when you think you're stimming up, sometimes when you think you're reloading, it's good to push it at least a second time to make sure that it registers or that some other animation isn't in the way in the game so that you can actually do that before you get killed. Also, too, there's no real difference in performance mode versus quality mode, not that I can really see. And the thing that's incredibly frustrating is, to a degree, it does look a little better, but boy, that performance or that frame rate just absolutely tanks, like at 30 or under 30. And it's kind of brutal to actually see that while, of course, you're playing the game. So the best place to do it is performance mode, where you can get most of the time 50 to 60 frames per second. And then every once in a while, it's going to dip to like 42 or 45 with what I was seeing through my gameplay that I've had so far. Also, sometimes there's mislaunching strats. So you can do the directional button pad and throw it out there. And even though it's not hitting a rock cliff or a face or whatever, it will not launch. Luckily, that doesn't happen very often, but I'm serious. Completely clear. There's nothing in the way. Of course, you can't launch it like on the side of a cliff or something. I understand that. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the ground is clear and you launch that sucker and it doesn't come up. Whether it's a reload, whether it's a stratagem, whether it's a gun emplacement or a turret or something, it doesn't really matter. Sometimes it just does not launch. So I don't know if that's a glitch with the new planets that we're on, the new missions that we have, as there are some other glitches as well that need to be worked out, or if this is just a continuous problem across the board. Because I don't remember having issues like I did on some other planets against the Illuminate or against bugs or against the automatons. But on this specific Tyranid planet, my word, it's kind of brutal. So yeah, it's important to kind of work some of those bugs out. But overall, the game's great. It's really fun. It can be an absolute blast. You can meet some amazing players there. I've made some new gaming buddies, and boy, yeah, a lot of us want to play all the time. Now, something I have seen after this week is that kind of the hype is kind of over for right now. And my friends list that I get to see on Xbox, it was pretty jammed with Helldivers, and now that is almost like been cut in half. A lot of people have probably played what they want to play or experienced what they experienced. There's other games coming out, of course. Some of them have switched over to like Gears of War, for example, or waiting for the next big thing, or like Metal Gear Solid Delta. That's another one that I'm seeing. Or maybe some are finally getting to Wu Chang Fallen Feathers. So either way, they have sold a lot of copies. There are still people playing. It still is a good time. But yeah, it is a blast of a game. And it's just great to see a studio really care about their community and want to make a game experience and not a game store. I just really appreciate that. So thanks for tuning in, folks. You can always follow me at Gaming Garbage 22 at on YouTube. Also, don't forget the playlist. There's a lot of stuff that I do on the channel. And you can poke around. If something's not for you, don't sweat it. Just go and skip on and wait for the next video. Also, you can find me over at Twitch at Don't Tread on Thee if you'd like. And you can watch me play while I stream. We will have Chronos: The New Dawn. That is launching literally tomorrow, September 5th. And yeah, we're going to be... The idea is to stream all of it. And then once I've played enough, do an initial look, and then when I actually beat the game, I'll do a final review. And then I'll have an entire playlist of all of the streams for the entire game that folks can watch. And thank you guys again for voting. If you guys don't know, you guys get to vote every January on what game you want me to completely review. And then I purchase it and I review it for the year. And yeah, you guys get to vote every single January. So if you're looking forward to that, just wait for next January. And those polls will go up on my YouTube channel, and you guys can vote then. So hopefully you guys are doing well, beating the heat, beating the winter, wherever you guys are. And yeah, Helldivers is just a blast of a game. Those devs know what they're doing, and they care about their community. So with that, folks, thanks for tuning in. I'll see you guys on the next one.